What up? Much peace to all coming through. Just a little something from Sun Ray, all the way in Australia, out there to you in the world. Stay blessed, stay fresh, pass tests, no stress. My mess, relax, I guess. That's the way that I do. That's the way that I try. Just to try and get by. Mathematics says pies. Add it up, stack it up. That's the way that I'm doing it. But I'm just relaxed, I'm chilling back like it's just fluid, kid. Anyway, nah, man, we just here, inspired by that. Waiting for plenty people, some if you are keen, come through. Links in the description. Just doing a little, but have a bit of entertainment. Just a little bit of beats going on, audio in the background. Hope it's all coming through clear. Better double check. So, G. Alright, so that seems good to go. Yeah, basically this was just something I thought I'd impromptu once again. Live stream was in a few places before. Everybody, actually I should start this off as I usually do. Acknowledgement to the original traditional custodians of this land that I'm on in Australia. Major acknowledgement and recognition to the ancestral lineages of all of us who may hear this, especially to the third generation prior. May they resonate and come through to all and support us in this time that we need. This goes out to you clearly. I hope that you can feel within inside yourself the fact that they are here watching and helping in any which way, trying to trigger your mind to behave and act in the way which will enable the prosperity, longevity, and fortune of your experience and your family can continue to grow. So also in this time that we have unfortunately through the COVID, here is a rose of condolence for those that have been affected. Other flowers we also enjoy, obviously, but as I said, I'm just going to kick this through for a while. It's open to anyone. You know how these things seem to work. They take a bit of time for notifications to get out. So if you could hit the like on the way in, share, sub, do all that, comment, man. All that is welcome. All input is welcome. If you want to hop up, link should be in the chat. So yeah, man, most definitely we are keen to just get things going and hope you're feeling how you're feeling in this time. Basically, of this illness that we've got going on. Like, it's just, I don't know what to say, but it's just trying to keep your mind off it. This is just some more audio I've got. Another one of tracks that I've produced from start to finish. Yeah, just get the mood going before we get flowing fully. As it says here, if you want to be able to read, it's society versus so I see. So, just I'll give it. This is just a little bit of time for the things to get out, obviously. So if there's anything you want to talk about or discuss, man, just pop it in the chat. All input welcome. We'll get this info coming through, and we can just vibe on it and really hopefully help bring out some help to provoke thought, which will help bring about a change for the better for some people. Maybe your mindset, it might be just your environment, job, things, anything, just like things within your mind internally. We all obviously we need to learn, we need to calm down, harness that inner strength, harness that inner energy, for sure, and direct it. As I do say a lot, look inside yourself, find your direction, and follow that path. The initial agenda, the best you can be, follow your intuition. I mean, these are some things that I do try and stick by, live by. So I mean, yeah, basically, if you're, it's just, we're out here just to try and keep it all cool. I want to be on a different vibe, get up here, be bright, but be myself, be honest. Honesty is key to every relationship. I'll definitely stand behind that comment, from that being to you and your parents, you and your siblings, you and your workers, you and your partner. So, there was let's see, maybe we'll have time for one more instrumental. We don't have too many people coming through as of yet, which is cool. But I think let's see if I can go up in the I wasn't really sure, even though I put quite a few to choose. I wasn't sure which one. But anyway, we'll just go with which one will have. Someone's clever, but this is in the middle somewhere. Yeah. So I do have the volume and things that come through, but anyway. Once again, society versus so I see. If you can, I'll break that down once this I can get through it. So alright, we got a few people coming in, so I'll give it a few more minutes. These are just some things going on. Once again, if you got anything on your mind, come hit the link, get up here, more than welcome. We're just trying to send the vibes out, be the best we can be. I mean, we've obviously all got things to say, we're all worried, we all seem that we have got the answer to everything within one sentence, which is quite amazing to me. So I might this is how some impromptu thing I came up with. Society versus so I see. So, I mean, the only way in which you can initialize the beginning of a transition is to visually obtain a mental picture to which you can aspire and model your daily habits around. showing discipline and solidarity to the notion. Continued sincere practice will enable you to manifest and envision that thought. I'll get back to that after this song finishes. We can, this beat finishes, sorry. It does come back. Yeah, I just thought I'd fire this up. Don't know what time it is around the world. We are currently at 8 p.m. at night in Central Australian time. You're listening to some audio which I've composed. Just some introduction to this stream. Get some time for some people to come through. Seems like people are coming in and out. But hey, it is what it is. Begin with the fear. You know, I'll go to drink for my sins. Blood is just blood. I want to be covered in mud. Cleanses me. Sends me to a place that I can strengthen my mind. Beats that I find. No rewind. Beats on my mind. Just like this. Travel back to the point essential. Quintessential. That's my mental. From the central, not accidental. When I come from his beside, no, paid the price, rolled the dice. I suffice, live the life. Count of 9 tails, rip a mile fell. What a set around the beats and the ball locket. Check it. The impromptu. Alright, wiggity wiggity. What is up? Okay, so it's been about a 10-minute intro. Once again, hope whoever is with us, much peace. We are here, Bright and Effect. You're more than welcome to come up and join this panel. It's just an impromptu stream I thought I'd bring out. Hopefully everything's coming through good. If you could hit up in the chat any little comment. But as I was saying before, breaking down this little notion that I thought of myself, basically society versus so I see. So, as I was saying before, the only way in which you can initiate the beginning of a transition is to visually obtain a mental picture to which you can aspire and model your daily habits around, showing discipline and solidarity to the notion. Continued sincere practice will only lead you to a higher quality of refinement for the inner sense and understanding of expression of one's sense of self. Only you can determine the direction in which you generate and resonate your vibrational force field. The tradition of harnessing your prana, chi, mana, or energy, the vibrational field which stimulates each individual's natural ability of cyclic being, has been one accustomed to many cultures of the ancient world. And although it never stagnated, it now makes a resurgence in the global digital age. Well, that is I think, powerful state. I don't know, that's myself. I did come up with that. So to me, that holds a lot of meaning and bears a lot. Basically, I hope those can understand that and feel that. So basically, it's up to you. So look after yourself, look after one, and basically you are the only one which will bring about the change. So the distractions which are in your environment, whichever they may be, or whatever conflicting interests or like just conflicting situation you may face, that confliction is the extremity of it is completely up to you. So, I mean, not to say always turn your blind eye and be careless, but the amount of stress that you put onto maybe very small innate things uh, may lead to a further accentuation of these like things you consider stress and distractions. So like we all here we need to, if we could so like basically if you can understand what I'm saying is, so if somebody was to just say get a name called, somebody called them a name. Now a lot of people may, I mean, you know take a lot of fans and go home. There's many different, and then this is the other thing. There's, we can't act like we. I mean, I'm not trying to. I've seen though I'm ranting because this is an impromptu, but um, you know, we all learn off each other. We're learning for life, right? We should learn every day of our life. I feel we should respect each other, try and resonate and build off what we can. Now, although this, at the same time, none of us are perfect. We all go through ups and downs, trials, tribulations, um, and one one experience for somebody could be extreme. For another, might just be another simple day. So, as I was saying that, like, I don't aspire to say that I know it all, like in any way at all. um so like, but we've got to put in an effort to try and keep advancing, or just uh keep prosperous, be in a strong, confident position where you are satisfied with and content with your situation as much as can be, and to the fullest. I mean that, like, so we're all going through situations of despair, but some might not. We don't try not to let it get to you. you know there's as they say, maybe there's a polaristic sense of things. So on one end, you could be going through that complete turmoil, but there is definitely another side of brightness, or happiness, that is yet to be experienced and can easily done so. In my imagination. So um, basically, I mean, and then that's another great point. Imagination. A lot of people might not have such a wide imagination, and they consider everything to be defined by the construct of the media, or masses, or their boss, or at work. So um, if if they are in a view where it's very narrow, that's the picture and that's all that it is. And if somebody was to bring another idea to the equation, they would completely shun it, just for that simple fact that they don't have that imagination. They they can't they can't conceive or figure the, the possibility of a different situation than what has been told to them, instead of going with the experience that they have, their inner life, or not their inner life, but just the experience and the feelings that they have had. I think they're the most valuable things, and we should really, really hold that. I sincerely say that. So anybody who's listening to that, all experiences which you've engaged in and have given you either up or down emotion, whichever, both, in all of them, you realize inside yourself what trigger uh, was caused and how it, where it sent you. So, you know, that gut instinct, that's really what it's about. So follow that. And, you know, there may not be always the perfect environment for, you know, to continually manifest brightness in that sense, although that would be a great way. And you know, if somebody kept on that wave of thought, it might manifest to that. But you know, just yeah, be on, be on, keep your imagination bright, stay on the brighter side of life, as they say. You know, I mean, I try and keep it cool, man. You know, what I mean, the whole time, just like relax, chill, and I've always kind of been like that. But you know, and if it will get to the, you might sound and be surprised of the extremity, you know. But I can be very assertive and aggressive if the requirements are there. But I don't find the requirement there, like for many situations at all. Like when I swim, you know, and especially in my the past say 5 years, in my late 20s and early 30s, it's like when I was in my teens, yeah, I would be quick to flip. Very, you know, I could have reacted, even though then I was very calm, still very just, you know, what's the point of bringing nonsense or even talking nonsensical things, um, or bringing about any violent negative issues or just, you know, to the field of play or to anyone that I'm around. Why would I bother doing that? So, you know, but if it was brought to you in an ignorant way, and I guess if you were to try and turn away and do the correct thing and just not even stoop to that level, but then it continually will occur, I'm sure then you in some way you need to stand up and maybe not say let me take it to a physical extent, but the you know you need to think before you move and make sure that you can really brightly highlight the fact to the person or persons who are causing the strife that this is not on, and it's very weird. Like I mean, as they say, a bully. Like the bully is somebody who maybe in most cases at a schoolyard is very insecure himself. For what reason does he pick on these other children? They're just vulnerable. He might be the big one. He picks on the small children, but he has no real reason or thought behind what he's doing. He just wants attention, maybe. Uh, and then I think that's quite sad. But then even the day, if you want even to try and reason with that bully, he won't listen because of his insecure. But if you were to stand up to that one and actually, you know, put some fear into his mind, I think a lot of the times those bullies, not even the bullies, it's the person will sense that res- the respect that you hold for yourself, I guess. I mean, and that's another good way to think, because the way you hold yourself, the way you present yourself is basically uh you know your reception and antennas out there to the external environment and how people perceive you. So basically, yeah, if you're walking down the street with your head down, mumbling, can't relate, correspond, or interact with people in a nice social way, then, or not even, it just seemed, the people hold that stereotype, and unfortunately, it's a first impression is last, and even just what those vibes you give off, they really um, they amount to a lot, and they hold a lot of power. So you shouldn't think unrealistically, and don't think egotistically over your head, like, oh, do think you are great, you are beautiful, you are smart, you have talent, you have skill, you can learn, you can be strong, you can be better. But the thoughts of to say I am the ultimate, most beautiful, nothing can, I anything, everything is below me. That I think that's a bit too far, where it becomes more of a, uh, I guess the talk is correlating more on a negative, um, argumentative side rather than being of an optimistic. I guess yes, he's being rather more pessimistic, insecure, because you're saying, "Oh, nobody can defeat me. I'm much better. Everything is below me in my standard." Whereas if you were to be on the sense of, okay, we are all engaged, but um, give the respect to the others, that we can, we do have intelligence, hold up, we stand up straight, we look each other in the eye. When people are talking to us, we listen, we engage. Now, if these are the sort of things which people will pick up on, and in turn, they'll you know show their respect back in the all. Maybe in at other times, if they think they'll take advantage. So if you want to hopefully read between the lines, you can see the difference of their behavior. Um, Unfortunately, there are many people out there, and it's doing with that mindset, and it seems to be getting stronger. But at what level? I guess I could, you could think it has existed since, uh, was any form of leadership or royalty or nobility, what are they, no, nobility, because, or even chiefdom, as they would see themselves superior to the common man. Now that's kind of, that's another touchy topic, where I feel, obviously, if people knew the history and the divine right to rule, um, which basically gave this rule to royal members and their families, they had the assumption they had the strict God given right directly to them and their family as a person to hold such power and rule over the nation at hand, or in regards. So, and then to have centuries of that industry or that system to run and try and perfect its ways. Obviously, things come up. People will uh, protest, demonstrate, and you can't actually just shut them down straight away. They have to maybe uh, agree in the public eye, but then behind closed doors, they open up a new organization through another name, which you have no idea would relate to, and they push forward their agenda still. Now, I think things like that are very, they are happening, and if you don't think so, I think you'd be a bit um, naive. I think there's the word, because that's, I mean, again, it comes back to what I said before, the imagination. Now, some people, some people might not, couldn't even conceive that, because they're on the system's narrative and whatever is told by the main mass media, or television, or that is what is, and then no if and or buts about it. So, um, but then on the same sense of the coin, you can have the imagination go too far, and you might come up with too many conspiracies, not conspiracies, but you might come up with some quite outlandish thoughts, which are quite far from the mark. Although, in that same aspect, I think thinking outside the box is the way to go, because for a lot of the time, those sort of thoughts would have been the time that they triggered. They if you had the imagination to think and go of a think of a situation or an environment to bring up, then and it wasn't too unrealistic. It probably brought about a great new change in society and our the way we think, the way we live. So there is some goodness in obviously in that and thinking through advancement. But I'm definitely one in this time, as I said before, with all this, the way we've continued technology going on, um, it's, with our devices trying to become more convenient for us, the food we eat making it more convenient, supposedly convenient for us, the time, our travel, all of these things we've seen for obviously generations. And if you look, I mean, this is in our own life that we've been alive for, say, 3 decades. So, um, and we could look back through histories of papers and see that, well, detriment, I mean, things may have advanced, but, richer got richer, poor got poorer. The cases of deaths really didn't stop. The cases, cases of what people would consider ill-fated, murder, starvation, things that I could be quite unnecessary, really. And you would think that if someone's at a government hand and powerful leadership role, how can one mind think, to be in a like I don't know, like I guess, and these people who are same in control are now panicking, and they're like really in front of the cameras telling us, oh, we've got to do this about COVID, this disease has got everybody running around in circles, where I think they should have been more prepared, one step ahead, as they are. They're very highly paid, although they're just people. The politicians who represent us, so uh, what they say holds a lot of sway. So I mean, why wouldn't these issues be resolved? I just cannot understand. Like I'm one to agree that there was always there's bad in every culture, or and you'll find the odd one out in every family. But it's just something which has baffled me my whole life. Like the amount that it does go on, and I kind of seem to think that it's part and parcel of society. Like they take into the account the black market and how many billions of dollars that run through it, and the revenue, which is it's growing. Like it doesn't seem to be minimizing none of these things. They get bigger and bigger, and who benefits? Well, who's to say? But they point the finger at people who use the drugs and people who sell the things, or even firearms, like anything. Um, just from even like in the situation with Eric Garner. Bless that man. He was supposedly, the case was of selling single cigarettes, supposedly, allegedly, and you know, you that's just, I don't even want to bring that vibe up, but the thought of that's horrific, and just picturing that situation is just disturbing. To have a whole, you got 7 people just around one civilian, and these guys are paid by these people that I was talking about, who are in these top political positions, being paid very, very high salaries, and then they've got these task force out there to supposedly keep these things smooth, but smoothness doesn't seem to be really going on when I look out my window, you know, um, and when I walk through town. Like, people don't sincerely care for one another. They just say hello and walk past each other. And if you were to stop and say, actually, hey, how are you? And find out what's going on for their past, what happened yesterday with them, they'd be shocked, because they just, it's just nod at your head, hey, yep, good, and just keep going. But, um, back to more of that. That I think that's another, that could be a key factor to that, the fact we've lost that sort of connection and touch, and we don't want to be more, I say, with ourselves, like, and if connecting with humans or connecting through um, interaction of, like, through nature, I guess, water sports or just sports in general, or hobbies, board games, things like that. But now it's basically, the electronic is our friend. The device is basically representation of us now. Like, you do everything through it. And if you don't have an online account, a smartphone, then there'll be a lot of situations where you'll be unable to access a lot of things. And it's sure, getting slimmer and faster. Like, things are going out of date. This technology, which 4 years ago was top of the range, but now is basically, what's the word? Just like, not, it's unusable. It's just, God, it skips my mind, but it's just, yeah, you can't. It's still there, great, device, but it's just incompatible, I guess, and then there's no use for it. So, yeah, maybe I'm ranting, but I hope everybody kind of, this was just a bit of an impromptu stream. I'm just checking the chat. Much peace to Chris out there. Aloha, my friend, my brother in Hawaii. Hawaii. More than welcome if you want to jump up. Or if you've got time, if not, it's all cool. Whoever's out there in the land of YouTube, and there's another thing, and this is, we're in the land of, like, where it's online. A lot of people catch feelings over things which we've kind of lost. Like, we don't really even, we say that we're a community and friends and things of this nature, but we've never met. We've never looked each other in the eye physically. Never gone to eat a meal together, share time together, anything. Just sat and spoken over a mobile, like a smart device. Now, and that, in saying that, that is basically a lot of this new generation. I think, what is it, Generation Alpha, or I can't remember what the newest term is. But that's how a lot of them are growing up. It's not about going out and meeting people, and we got some new people in the house. Much peace, much peace. Nicholas from the UK, Glastonbury, all the way, man. The big festival city, Glastonbury, UK. Shout out. I'm a mad musician, was professional musician, and the unreal Aussie. Oi, excellent. That's how we are. Grateful for both of you to come through. Sorry, I got a bit off topic. I'm just doing a bit of a rant. Yeah, like, I mean, it was a impromptu stream, but if you've got the if you want to just, yeah, anything on your mind, just, you can hit the link. You can come up, have your word heard. I'm just trying to put my vibe of peace out there, man. As a, like, my calm vibe, as I do, and I haven't, how far are we in? We're in about 40 minutes, actually. So I did a bit of 10-minute. I'll take this time to do a smoking session, smoking blessing. Get as the traditional people of this place, this land, have a smoking session to get rid of the bad spirits and bad vibes as I talk. So if you are fortunate enough to have some flowers, which you may spark with me at this time. Bombalina bless. And that's how it goes. So, I mean, Yeah, I mean, shit. We see people coming through now. We've got. It's good to see. You just got. I mean, I guess you got to open up and you got to wait a bit of time for the notifications to pop out and people to roll out and things. But and this is it. We've got people. I mean, I'm just sitting here in my room in front of a laptop, and basically getting back to the point I was talking about, like this new generation, Generation Alpha, or whatever they are called. They don't understand about engaging with people. Like you had to go out and ask a girl out, like physically, if you liked her, you had to go up to. I mean, it still happens nowadays, and that you got to be like that, but not as much so. Like you don't go up to her and ask her maybe her number or if she wanted something or start engaging conversation. Now it's really more about uh, the done way is to be online, kind of like you see a photo of something. I mean, all these apps like Tinder and stuff like that, the dating ones where you see a picture, you swipe if you like, and then you get a date out of that. Or you might find, like, this is legit. Like, a lot of people are finding their partners, their life partners, and having children. So to me, it's a bit it's a new one because I do and as I said, I'm only in this is the third decade. I'm in my early 30s, so it's like um, it's the it's kind of weird to me. I was there through the whole change of it, but I'm not one for that. Like, I think it's a bit, there's too much fraudulent, not fraudulent, but people being unrealistic and um, just, what's that, exaggerating the facts a little bit much, maybe, and then with even in the same sense of, I'm talking about how they speak about themselves in the sense of filters on photos, like they're twisting the truth slightly, with these selfie photos they take and then they put a few things around it, effects and stuff. So, I mean, it's a similar thing. They're not being true and legit, although this is all you see. Um, and that is what they're presenting to themselves, uh, to the world as. And as I said before, that's the first step. Whatever you're emanating off, your vibes that you're emanating off from you is what somebody else is going to recognize and kind of uh, put you, categorize you in that sense. Like, if you're walking around with your head down and just talking around, talking quiet, then, someone might not see you as very assertive or strong and try and walk over you. Whereas if you were to walk head held high, or strong confidence, and have be, stand with assertiveness, then I guess people will respect that and realize, hey, well, we might have to at least engage in some communication with this person rather than just have our way with it. So unfortunately, there are people out there like that. But I won't. I prefer. We won't stay on the negative side. So it's good to see. Oh, I've lost a few people, but everybody comes like Unreal, bro. Are you um? Well, you didn't want to say. Are you from the East Coast or West Coast or Central? I'm actually Central. I was born in Brisbane. Parents are from Fiji, but I've moved into SA for the beautiful culture. G20 was coming and it got me out of there. But also Nicholas, bro. Oh yeah, South, mate. South, same here. Nice one. So we got the beautiful flowers, those green flowers, if you know what I mean. Um, oh wow, Tassie. Well, Van Diemen's Land. Interesting. Nah, the former. um, and that's another thing. The facts that people, I mean, like facts that are not so commonly known. Like which I feel should be. That's another reason why I want to get this channel up, sort of going, and running and stuff. So I would appreciate if people like and share and whatnot. But like, I just want, just to push, just like, like, so I find that there's a lot of facts that people are really ignorant to, not ignorant to, but they don't even have any idea that these things exist, and they go on with life thinking it's all so fine and dandy, where the reality is some, there's a lot of, say, maybe blood on the hands of people in their history, or there were some conniving things to it, which may brought it the way that it is. So, and I think if people realize those little just facts, it might balance it out and way, balance their mindset a little. And I guess you can't blame them in a way that, well, in a way that's this is what we were all taught, and through school, that's the curriculum was like that. In a sense, you could blame someone who's realizes it and turns a blind eye. I think that's just as bad. Like, you're pretty much in the same case. But that would, not to, as it to say I am the all perfect almighty. Like, it's not like, like there. Sometimes I'll fall into that category for sure, and um, that's probably not the greatest thing, but I try not to, But there's a lot of us. There's things going on where we should, if it would just, each person was to do a slightly different action, there'd be a huge outcome of difference. But still be happy. I'm not complaining or nothing, man. I don't want this to be, like, oh, wine, whingy, whingy, everything's all wrong. Give a dog a bone and whatever. Like, I'm just, being respectful, be about respect, be about yourself. And as I said, as it's kind of other things, look inside yourself, find your direction, and follow that path. You know, uh, be the best you can be and follow your intuition. These are some things that I, really think. I think before you move. It's just like, and be respectful. I don't understand how people get like that. Like, I can understand from environment's sake. Like, if that's all you saw, you grew up in a family where it was just straight up, um, maybe heavy alcoholic use, or violence, maybe abuse, or just some sort of ill behavior, and then that rubbed off on the uh, child because it seemed normal. That's all they knew. Um, and then, so for that sense, it's this. I would excuse it, but I can, you just have to take that into account. And then, you're never going to make everybody happy. There's always going to be people there uh, who just want to disagree for the sake of it, and argue for the sake of it. Um, like that maybe that's all they've got in their life. Like, it's like they're so insecure about. They have insecurities, like, which are issues which run around in their head. Maybe nobody's told them off or anything in any way, but it's just something going on in their mind, and then it tends to play out on the other person, like, or they'll bully it or do something, like, in another sense. And like, I think, this is coming from my experience being a dark. I'm born in Australia. Absolutely, you listen to my voice, it's just, you would completely think, you'd be shocked to see me, and a lot of people do, because they see my skin, they go, oh, where you from? Like, and I give the full answer, but it's like, uh, oh, I forgot where I was going with that, but then there's mind freeze. To be respectful, like, oh, I knew it'll come back, it'll come back, but I guess what I'll just read what Unreal was saying. Yes, it's easy to be respectful. Yes, it's easy. That's right, man. That's it. I mean, it's an easy thing to do for some. That's right. It's a good thing that you could say that, brother. That you don't think that it's a very hard thing to stop. Uh, be polite. Gather gather your senses for a second, and then just be respectful. Just for that moment, wherever it may be. If you're even, and I guess you should even take. I was about to say you could be in your go in your own time, then try and vibe all the frustration or whichever you want, but and be disrespectful as you want. But I think what good is that? You should even truly, if being sincere about it, be respectful for yourself, and that's the main thing. You know, be respectful to yourself. As again, it's gonna a bit from you. It's gonna rub off. People are gonna look at you and treat you that way, most likely. So. Uh, Maybe there you go. That could be another key to the thing that people, because if you were to be respectful to yourself, it would shine, and it would be an easy thing to be respectful to others, and it'd be an easy thing to fathom. But if you basically try to go outside and put on a smiley face and like be two-faced and be all like, yes, everything's great, but really inside you're burning up. Uh, that's kind of you know that's the reason why they aren't able to do it, because inside they're all spent up with this huge disrespect for either themselves or whatever the problem may be, the issue that which is something um, they need to recognize and realize, because always every problem, you need to recognize before you can fix it. So if they want to, it's gonna persist if there's nothing, no change. So if they just continue to live and be angry inside, and then it'll rub off as they go to the outside, as they go to the public, and then they just seem to be people with who are very harsh, let's just say, and but yeah. So yeah, that's coming from a male's perspective too. I'm just thinking here, being very harsh, but like you know, even if like for a female, like you don't want to be, they have to, you know, also be what's the, cut the line and draw the line somewhere too. So you can't be all airy fairy and everybody's happy, everything is la di da. Um, all right, peace, Aussie. If you're out, man, or Nick. Oh, Nick's out. Much peace, bro. Glastonbury, thank you for popping through, my brother. Um, yeah, awesome. So it's just see, we got authenticness there from another, my friend here, Unreal Aussie, mate. We like, um, he was, it was took the time to just be polite enough and say goodbye, like rather than just ignore it or shut off. Um, But anyway, yeah, I mean, like again, even yeah, it would be great if you could, if you had time, if you want to come up, bro. Just tell us how things are where you're at. If not, all good. Because as I say, I love to learn off people and find different, you know, elements of lifestyle, culture, and people. They're very respectful, obviously. Another blessed session, man. Traditional Aussie drink. Um, so yeah, I mean, that would have been cool to get. Oh, maybe I can uh to be a DJ over in Glastonbury. Yeah, I mean that's a. I was a professional musician for 3 years, playing Woodford Folk Festival and touring New Zealand, which was really awesome. So being a creative, I think that's helped me a lot. Avoid the kind of grind of the 9 to 5, because I found that I went to, my parents were very much wanting me to finish my tertiary education and get a degree and do all this, go that way. But I was always just, I guess, I was, able to do pass the work, but when it came, I mean, at school, but then, when it came to university, I was very kind of like to the point, not, I would try and it was to my detriment in a way. Like I would uh, put points across to the lecturers in a way that, okay, look, because I don't think it's fair how these institutions had developed and they are constructing. Um, I mean, fair. If who's the, just the way that it has been brought about and established. It was all, and then it took 200 years for them to recognise and make a change. But I would argue things like those points, and it wouldn't get you very far in the university course. You have to basically, and as I've heard before, so if you're, it's basically to get a bachelor's degree, you are literate. You're able to read and write and regurgitate what the teacher or lecturer has given you, you know, to whichever grade you've achieved. That's really all it is. I mean, because if you were to go put a deferment of facts away from what is aligned with their topics, questions, and essays and things, you're going to fail. So, yeah, but um, yeah, so going back onto that, so I mean, I've always been into music and doing that thing, so I think it's great that I can have that expressive outlet because it's something that's really helped, like, and I guess people have said that too. I remember as I was going to, at least that I have a passion because a lot of people don't know which way they want to go in life, and that's another good thing. I mean, big thing we should think of. You know, um, the innocence of youth is one thing, but then you've got distractions of peers, social media, all these places. But it's like, and um, they can, trying to distract them or how they decide or how they to know as they are growing, by this year, teens to 18 to 20, which way you want to go. Like any in life, like like, because you haven't experienced. So you're just going off what people are telling you, and hopefully that is the best for you. But I mean, even in what I'm saying, I forgot to put. It's uh, like a great line. Like it's in, I think it's, I don't know where it came from, but Snoop Dogg has said it in one of his things. It's like if um, you're doing it for the ones you love, but you needs to know if you ain't doing it for yourself, it don't matter. The It was a wake up. You know what I mean? So like, you don't like if you don't do the things for some people get caught up in that and they just do what they do because they wanted, it's what their parents wanted or the ones that or their partner wanted, and it's just like internally it's not the direction they wanted to go. So I guess they'll end up being unsatisfied and unhappy, you know. So I do live, so that's right. You got to do things, as I say, look inside and find your direction, follow that path, link with like minds, be respectful, and just if something is disrespectful to you, then or is of a detriment to you, there's no way you should entertain it or go, keep. but coming across it. So, if it happens once, try and squash it or just erase it or avoid it. Um, and yeah, really, if it is to continuance where you have to, there's measures you would take, you've got to either completely maneuver, but that's where you just got to avoid and just be on the path of progression. So, I can see Aussies out there. It's like as we're at in Australia, it's about Australia. In um, Australia, it is basically 9 o'clock Central Time and night time. So in the evening, so people are probably starting to slow down. Even though there'll be no, there may be still work for some, but tomorrow will be Monday. But a lot of places have shut down in this time. This is why, another reason I kind of put this impromptu through. Everybody's in lockdown, and we're like supposed to be indoors, um, or within the confines of your property, or so, So, although there are the emergency places staying open or whatever, but I guess a lot of people will, they, like had not having to get up early tomorrow to go to work. But I mean, and that's the other part, beautiful part about this internet thing. It's probably by midday in the UK, um, and maybe even like I don't know 4 o'clock in the afternoon or in the early morning in America. Uh, so it's like we got people on all sorts of different um, time waves, time lengths, and then just engaging at this one time. But really, I shouldn't get too fascinated by the technology of the internet. Has been around for a while. All right, so we're coming up to an hour. Is there any I guess um, what could any ideas of? Or maybe I'll probably shut it down. Um, oh, my old mate's got to go to work. So yep, 7 to 3, doing the typical. Well, there you go. Cool. Well, I hope you have everything is chill. And it's good to see that you are getting continuous work, which is great. My brother-in-law is also in the same profession, bro. So that's pretty cool. Um, Up in Brisbane, and yeah, that's the way, man. Like keep busy, doing the right thing, and so as you said, I might like it's been an hour. Um, Probably slowly start to shut this down. Um, but much peace again to all out there who are going to listen to this or for you to listen to this. It's just an impromptu. So I've got to do this again. Well, I could get some background going to this. I guess I'll put this going out for my mate Aussie because he's. Oh wait. Um, Hang on a second. So you're getting confused here. You gotta just relax, or else you go to here, you go to here, you go to you gotta make sure you hit this button. Alright. Bit of vibe. Outro music or gets you in that zone. So I hope you all feel right, keep them bright, being what you be. Find love within yourself and the harmony in between the strings that was strong. Look at what you have become before it's undone. Blossom into a new petal. Into blue. Yeah, too Aussie, bro. I'll be going on, man. Much appreciation, man. If you've subbed up, hit the bell. Yeah, hopefully it'll come through every time. But yeah, I'll go on sporadically and be coming on on a more regular basis in the future for Shiggity. But much appreciation again to all those coming through. A few in the house. And here I'll break this again. So society, so I see. The only way in which you can initiate the beginning of a transition is to visually obtain a mental picture to which you can aspire and model your daily habits around, showing discipline and solidarity to the notion. Continued sincere practice will only lead you to a higher quality of refinement for inner sense and understanding of expression of oneself. Only you can determine the direction in which you generate and resonate your vibrational force field. The tradition of harnessing your prana, chi, or mana, or energy, the vibrational field which stimulates each individual's natural ability of cyclic being, has been one accustomed to many cultures of the ancient worlds, and although it never stagnated, it now makes a resurgence in the digital age. So think about what you think about sincerely. Take your thoughts seriously. It will be beneficial. It will be something to help, most definitely. So I hope you guys can gain something off this, and likewise, I want to reciprocate back and hopefully be able to gain some vibes from the people that listen to this and put some input through. I could play literally. I'll just put this. Let's go through this. So hang on a sec. Excuse me for a minute. I'll stop there. Come back up. See, I need to be more smooth with this thing for sure if I want to work out what's going on in the outro. But I didn't do it again. We just go stop. Share. This is another. Audio, original audio composed by myself. Again, with the thought So I shall repeat, the only way in which you can initiate the beginning of a transition is to visually obtain a mental picture to which you can aspire and model your daily habits around, showing discipline and solidarity to the notion. Continued sincere practice will only lead you to a higher sense, a higher quality of refinement for your innocence and understanding of expression of one's sense of self. Good. It's hard times. Maya, peace out to Marve. With all the confusion that's going on in this medical invasion. Whoa, we just got some news coming in. No, unfortunately I didn't, brother. Thanks for telling me. I think it's going a bit loud. No, I didn't see the tanks rolling over the states in America. So some areas have obviously maybe either have already introduced martial law, or they're definitely thinking about it if there's tanks moving around. Well, so maybe that's something I should maybe discuss. But that's some information for people out there to, I guess, find, some, I don't know if you can find sense in it, but hey, that's what it is, man. So, appreciation again to all that popped through, man. But I'm not sure if Murphy just came in. I was thinking of rolling out. It's been about an hour or whatnot. Or if I'll pop it in one more time. So like, I wanted to come up for the last word. More than welcome. But yeah, I appreciate if everyone who has stuck around. Chris, if you're in the house in Hawaii, much peace, my bro. See, that's cool, man. We got we had Australia, myself, and then we got someone else in, another, a new friend. And then we had the UK, Glastonbury. We got Hawaii, so we got Oceania Pacific, and then Fiji coming through. So Oceania covered. We got some Europe areas of Europe, Belgium covered. We got, as I said, UK, Glastonbury, and Tasmania. So, and I'm sure, hopefully, if there was be someone from the US, but I know Chris that Hawaii is considered, I guess, the mainland. But no one came through. But I'm sure they'll have a listen if they get this far. Much appreciation. But yeah, man. See, that's it. That's fully going worldwide, and I love that. That's really a cool thought. I think there's a bit of a Ma put a link in the chat. It could have been, I'm not sure which it is. He did a remix, which was pretty dope. Yeah, well, it's getting to that stage in the UK. Maybe I could have got Glastonbury if you. Unfortunately, I wasn't discussing it at the time, but um, Nicholas was, in here. So, as Ma said, in the UK, the police have verbally attacked the people to go home. Um, oh, dope, brother. Thanks, man. Um, for the link. The so it's getting to that sad state. I mean, I know at least in England, the general beat police don't carry firearms, but they do have certain levels of authority which do. Um, but shit, is that all they're gonna do? Just bully us and yell us around? But it's quite sad that it's got to that situation. Um, you know, it's like, oh, it is what it is. I'll click the link. I'll just have to show. I don't want to get flagged or no chickadee jack. I don't know who it's from. So it's all. Um, oh, it goes on for a while. Oh, okay, well, I guess I could show just this tiny bit here. Um, like, okay, I think if it's up on the screen, hopefully it should be. This is a link that my friend just sent from Belgium. It's in America. Obviously, if you want to check the full video, you can. Um, at Mr. Chris 2101, or just hit that link Mar dropped in the chat. But they seems to be a whole rail line of like tanks, man, and they just like this is like what do they call it? Cargo, and like the length of those trains are they travel on for hundreds and hundreds of meters. So even in this frame, I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 tanks just in this frame. 8 tanks and 2 1/10 of a car. Um, you know, that's just that's quite devastating. What is it? What do you call it? That's lethal. Not ammunition, but just like weaponry. It's a piece of weaponry. But all that technology is just growing and growing, and it's massive. Like I saw a documentary on the weapons fair the other day, and a firearms uh, convention, and things like this were being sold, and up to date, like the new iPhone 11 or the 11X or the Samsung 20. It's like uh, you know they're making tanks with like that new up to date. All these things, it's just rocket. I mean, RPGs and other such things. It's obviously things like that. A lot of people realize, but it's just in the amount of money that goes through that plays through that industry. That's another question. It's a topic of its own. The amount of money which is um, spent on the firearm and weapons industry. It'd be in the trillions. Absolutely. You know, like, wow, you couldn't imagine. So if you saw that, that's pretty G. Um, oh, cool. There's some more people in the house. Honeybee saying she saw, yeah. So, okay, it's getting to that stage where they're just like, um, they're trying to intimidate the people that are so abiding by these rules, so the quarantine, stay inside, I guess, and they, yeah, there you go. as Honeybee did put, they want to go out, enjoy a beautiful sunny day. Hello to you, back to you, much peace. And as a, um, they unfortunately people that are doing such things, uh, the UK police seem to want to come up and waste their time. Oh, well, use their time. I shouldn't say waste. They'll utilize the time that they have to come and get in the face of some citizens to, in an angry tone, to make sure that they're inside, get back inside, where there could be other uh, major incidents they could be attending to, but they see fit that, hey, yelling at the citizens is a that's what they're getting paid. It's like makes every penny that they get paid worth it. They're doing, they feel that that's the job that they do. Notice they're under, um, what is it? The constables have told them they're under instruction. Sorry, that's the word. They can't, it's just a joke. Yeah, so it's weird. Obviously, the notifications come at all different times like that. And I'm happy to see everybody in here. Glad. More than welcome to come up, man. Have you say? I was going to shut down, but it seems like few people popped in. I mean, that's always the way. So you got to be certain people. But if you want to come and have your voice heard, then more than welcome. But if not, just listen in, and I'm appreciating all the texts in the chat. Just giving us ideas, and it. I mean, I think that'll be it. I think Honeybee, you in the US, or you're over in the UK. So that'd be like, I'm just trying to asking because of the fact I like I was talking before. Okay, so that means we got what do you call it? America in the house now. All right, bro. See, so we went from UK, Hawaii, Australia, another Australia, Belgium, and now we hit America East Coast, bro. So I'm liking, man, DC. See, so like, and we're all on different times. Like, what I mean, this all says we'll realize this, though, but it's just something that fast. It's pretty cool. So 9:30 on a Sunday here. I think it's 28. But everybody's in their own zone. So like, you guys are just waking up. As you said, beautiful sunny day. I hope it's gonna remain bright, and you have like, sincerely, that everything goes really well, and there are no obstacles for you, and you can, or whichever that you face today, you are easily able to step over them and walk into a great day. I guess, are you in lockdown in DC? I think it's getting quite drastic over in America, the measures that have been taken by the authorities. I don't know if you were just here to see the tanks that Ma actually provided me the picture with, but and I don't follow too much of the mainstream news, although I probably should in this time, because it's like there's some stuff going down. But it's like, I heard like that New York. It was quite abrupt too, or like not abrupt, but seemed it came out of nowhere. We hadn't heard of no. Obviously, the authorities knew about it, because I did see one of the governor talking about, oh, what you do in this situation. If it keeps getting worse, it keeps getting worse. You try and tighten the siphon. So that now they've cut off their borders because the situation got too bad. But now people are dying, very, very, at a rapid rate. So I mean, maybe they waited too long, or who knows? But um, So like it's but I think now what I've heard that those places are, yes, I mean deaths have increased actually, and what I did a little stream yesterday as I heard uh the state which is beside me, Victoria in Australia, they had it over 24 hours, 111 new cases as of that was the day before yesterday. So which made it 685 confirmed. So, but I think we've only had about, well, even one is bad, but we're at about 6 deaths, 6 fatalities. Um, yeah, okay, so no more than 10 people in a place at a time. Yeah, over in DC, similar thing. It was quite, as I said, in Victoria, it was quite shocking. It was a bit of a, that they said no. Um, it was like the gathering. You couldn't have unnecessary gatherings and things, and a funeral had to be up to, it was like 5 to 10 people, no more than 10 people at a funeral. For the I thought that was quite um, outrageous and quite strict, because someone has passed, but they can't gather and mourn together no more than 10. So that's the situation we're facing at the moment. Um, and it's all over that's what's going on. So, but as you see, some people aren't listening to it in the UK, so that the police are getting out and trying to yell them, get them in the house. Um, they're getting stricter. What does Ma say? Just hang on a sec. Excuse me. Hang on, I'll be back in a sec. Yo, excuse me. Thank you. I'm back now. Um, Yep, there you go. It's good to see the chat's getting along. Great, great, great. Also, yeah, I mean, I'll post it up again. You guys are more than welcome if you want to come and have your word heard, and just to get some this see the viewpoints from people around the world in this time of lockdown. I mean, this is the title of the video. It's like it was quite impromptu. I didn't really, it's like lockdown in that time. In this time of crisis, COVID-19, keeping you indoors. Because kind of, yeah, we've all been told to stay indoors, but anyway. But you've obviously got to go out and do things. And thing is, I feel for the places like supermarkets, petrol stations, pharmacies, they've had to stay open. All their pharmacies, that's a pretty cool, hey, I could talk a long time about that one. And that we'll be breaking that down. The word even well, if the word pharmacy came from pharmaka, which is a Greek word meaning witchcraft, sorcery, or so it's a bit of a thing there within that. You got to read between the lines there to understand what I'm saying. Get back into the chat, see Mas. Well, so from until 4th of April, till the 19th of April, 4th, 19th of April, they'll be doing some extreme measures in Belgium. The schools, oh no, the schools have closed in DC. Yeah, see, a few have actually closed in in South Australia. I'm in Adelaide, South Australia, so it's like a few of the schools actually have they've closed now. A few also what are they, retirement homes, old the retirement villages, I guess they got been, I think it's they're those sort of things. Oh, just I don't know if they're on lockdown or sent quarantine, but the school, yeah, it's quite sad actually. Yeah. I mean, not sad, but it's just like it's just strange because this has never experienced anything like this before. You know, there's never been any sort of lockdown of this measure ever. Have I experienced anything like this in my life? Living in Australia, living in a first world, like country, with all the top facilities, medical facilities and equipment, and even Fiji. That's most beautiful. That's been there 15 times. That's consider myself more at home there than I do here, which is quite unfortunate because if you listen to my voice, it's clearly Australian, and it's like, but you look at me, but they don't think I'm Aussie, and but I don't. I walk down the Fijian streets, and it's like up past us, like it's local. It's funny. Yeah, man. To Honeybee, she's be safe, and she's praying for us all. So that's good, bro. And I hope we all do stay blessed, bro. Like um, we just got to keep keep faith and just keep, yeah, just right. Just keep striving, man. What else you gonna do? Keep stacking, just keep building, bro. And like, take time. You gotta take time to relax. You gotta plan things out. You gotta take time to have some fun. You gotta take time to rest. You gotta take time to make sure you're eating too and hydrating, doing all these things. So time management. You can't just and don't burn yourself out. That's another thing. Especially in these times, people are just on social media. They want to be the first to it. They want to have all this stuff, right now, then. So they don't stop, and they're just constantly going. They get distracted rather than focus on tasks which are beneficial to themselves and stick with it, and then perfect that, polish that off so it can be way more beneficial to their experience of life rather than just running and torment, running around and around. So, I think, yeah, there were good points in there. And I always just thought to myself, I'm fortunate enough because, I don't have children at this stage that I don't have to worry about them. And so I'm sure for parents, it's a different ball game for, you're running around, but you also really, well, I would be one to be thinking of the child a lot, not, once. Well, I couldn't say because I haven't had one, and I couldn't. You can't fathom what it would be like. I do hope one day that I do. I don't know, I'm blessed with a child, but or more than or some children. But it's uh, it's just you know, yeah. Another there's another little you, and you gotta. But I've obviously they're gonna grow up in its own. Now I'm thinking of a child within who can't really fend for itself, or it's in a dependent. But excuse I'll just have a. And that's right. Anybody new has joined us. If you got them flowers, um, you know, spark up, man. Now's the time to spark up for me. Like if you're in DC, honey, and you're into that, wake and bake, get it on. I'm gonna have a smoke break. That's right. I hope you do, bro, honey. That's beautiful. You know. I hope that's good that you there's another a true female that wants to bear children and of her own and are up, hopefully I pray that all that comes to fruition and they're healthy and beautiful. Um, so I just got you new. Yeah, but there is some element into that. Like I could talk, I mean, we can. That's it. All we're doing really is just talking our opinions because, um, oh, okay, she had to quit smoking for work, but she's left too soon. Cheeky. That would be with a smile. Um, the it's a war against humanity. That isolation is not an emergency plan. Like how we're all inside. It seems so weird how like it we seems we're also vulnerable at the same time. Like especially with all these things like we've got Google Maps and Digi this, Digi that. There's many apps out there. There's so much like we can because of even if people talk about the chip, wearing the chip, and all these things like that. Like, I mean, even in Australia, our licenses carry a certain chip of which is an identifier similar to a tracker. Like so they're already in when they might not be implanted in us. And then I mean, I've seen documentaries in Sweden where people are doing it, and you know they've got this chip inside themselves. They can and they go to certain cash points and they can register and do what with their life. But anyway, back to that. Like, see, more commonly, people are running around with these chips in their pocket in their license. You know what I mean? So like, um, that sort of stuff has been active. Uh, so I mean, I don't know how, because then people get all worried about, this is the time, or wearing of the end time sort of thing. But we've been in this sort of situation. Um, not this sort of situation. As I said before, this is very weird. But going back to the point I was saying, so we're very vulnerable in the sense that we're all in, like, we've been told to be indoors, so like they know we are confined to this certain within our property of this square, certain the amount of the area of your property and your house. So I could just imagine, envisioning like an overview. So just think of like a Google Map thing, which is or something, a satellite version, which is picking up people too. And so they're all in their homes. They're not running around everywhere, but everyone's just in their house. And so it makes everybody uh it's a prime, because gives the advantage to, okay, everybody's going to be within the confines of their residence. So let's not. I won't take that out of context. And we're hopefully we are in here for quarantine, but like it would it leaves. I mean, and actually, as my mother, I'll say like this, like I mean, as vulnerable in many senses. I was thinking vulnerable to the people who are actually within the confines of their house, but because of that fact that we are all inside, right? And you go out on the streets and it's very, very quiet in most places. Like you don't see people walking around. There's no traffic or anything. I was just even speaking to my mother uh, yesterday or today, I think. God, and she was saying she's not. She's quite elderly now in Brisbane. Um, I'm the youngest, like of four, and so she's saying that she doesn't want to she go for a walk. She's setting up the treadmill or stuff in the house, which she hasn't really done. She used to go to the gym, but the gym is shut down. So even going for a walk around the block, which is something that she's done, and like we're not just like we very much come from this, but from Fiji living being on land, but she's afraid to go for the walk because not afraid, but she's not going for these walks for that factor. She could be vulnerable to attack. Like this is what she mentioned to me is that if you are if something was to happen, no, not even attack, just say she could to get an injury. Nobody's there to call for help. Like you know, it's I thought of it in the sense of if somebody was to attack, nobody would either stop or step in, or you'd be able to call out. But even if she was to fall over, nobody's there to help. Everybody's inside, and they're just like watching the television or whatever they're doing, and um, it's pretty true. I mean, I could see sense into what she was saying, but it's like it's yeah, that's a bit sad. It's led people away from going outside because I do. I'll still go out into like the backyard, stand out there, get the sunlight. Um, I was thinking of going for a walk today, but I suppose I didn't. I can't be untruthful, but I definitely should. I should probably do it tomorrow. Even I should maybe go live and go from the mobile because I do this mostly from the laptop. But just to give everybody a sense, I don't know, maybe because I don't think it's illegal. Obviously unnecessary things, but and it's obviously it's within the vicinity of thing. We're supposed to not be in close quarters to other people. So this is the distance barrier. So I mean, if you're the only person in a park, I don't think I don't see much damage or problem with that. So there's a nice little park just around, kind of maybe 100 meters away from where I live, so I could go walk down that street, and it'd be great, like to go through, see the views and things like that, because a lot of people are missing out, and I'm probably a lot of people probably miss out full stop anyway. But they're not the type of people who'll be listening, I guess. But couch potato type, uh, you know, fast food eating, um, just yeah, really low intelligent people like that. You can imagine just like obese, and they're not going to move anywhere. They ain't going anywhere. And thing is, they don't cook much either. They just get takeout. So what are they going to do for the like? Oh, it's pretty bad. It's like some people are. I can't even imagine that. Like the lifestyles of some of those people who live off fast food. Like, and then they tell their children, "Okay, kids, what are we having? Do you want a large meal?" Blah blah blah. And every night, burger, fries, and a soft drink, soda. What the? Come on, man. But anyway, not like alkaline lifestyle. I'm sure we're all familiar with that. Dr. Sabi. rising power always, I think and everything in moderation, really. That's the main part, bro. As long as you're content, you're happy, because stress is a major factor to these things. That's why I am like I am, bro. Like my persona is very chill, calm down. Like my voice might come across lazy or whatever, which way it is. I'm not sure, but I just want to be, just chill vibe, man, and peace. Like so I don't stress, man. Like over unnecessary stuff. Like so, like it's although hey, I'm not always just like in a land of la la peace. Actually, I better not be like say like that. I do. Uh, I guess it's probably the extremes are there. So my chillness is there, but the venting can go ooh. But I try to stay clear of that. But you have to let that out too. You got to be balanced, And as I was saying, like if you let the thing, if you like, it's in the moderation sense. So it's like with food or uh, maybe substances like narcotics or whatever, um, or even habits. It's like when you wake up, and if the first thing you think of is that habit or that narcotic or that food, and you have to go for that before doing anything else, well, that's when you're in a bit of trouble. When you're in control and you can then make the decision, all right, I want to step and maybe do that thing that I wanted to do, or um, I'll, excuse me, indulge in, and I'll have a piece of cake or something which they might not, like once in a while, yes, because you're also satisfying yourself. It's about that stress thing too. You're making yourself happy. So the chemicals inside your brain, they are they're very they're very prevalent, realistic, and they exist. Like because as I always have said that all these, the human body is the most technologically advanced uh, piece of engineering in existence, and that is no doubt. So all this replication that the scientists are trying to do and engineers they do off computers is just, they're amazed by what happens in our body. They're by like dumbfounded, and they, our body is doing all these processes which are just mind blowing. So obviously even within that, the fact that you have that piece of cake, which you might, they say it's not bad for you, but the happy endorphins or the chemicals that be running through your brain and uh, giving you joy, and then you're avoiding the stress. Um, I think there would be benefits to that. So, you couldn't do it every day and just be happy, happy, happy. Obviously, as I said, everything in moderation and, you got to be in control. So if you were getting up, as I said before, if you were getting up and you had to have that piece of cake before you do anything, well, that's not going to be a good outcome. But if, yeah, I won't continue on, but, you guys should get the drift of what I'm saying. Like, and and you obviously there are those calories to think about, but you can okay, honey, much to be much appreciation, man. Thank you for coming through. Always, if you get hit the like, share on your way out, be appreciated. But um, great to see you, and yeah, thanks for your input, man, and have great sleep and rest well, and rise well. So you know, that's about it, man. Like so we got to be, as I say, do the thing and do what's right for yourself, and because follow your intuition. That's it. Follow your intuition. So Okay, masters in the USA, they're also talking about going door to door. Is that with the police too? Oh, gee. So a bit of another break here, flower break. Alright, so, we're getting on to nearly 2 hours here, so much appreciation though to everybody that has come through, and anyone who's stuck around. Um, just been doing this solo on the solo tip, so it's all cool though, getting that vibe out. I probably wish I do definitely go to cut it off in about 2 hours, so stick around for another 10 15. But I guess that was in the middle. I thought I'd do an outro, play some songs, and then got some new videos and just like for myself. I mean, kept going. So what is the chat saying? We got like they're spreading fake fear, fake deaths in the UK. Normally, the evidences should be presented before the lockdown, and people should have more than just isolation. The lockdown is on democracy. Comments, beautiful comments there from people in the chat. My ma, they. So it's like, that's one thing too. Like, I mean, I've always, like, I guess, remained very I guess what's the word? Like, I mean, I don't want to I avoid watching things about it to keep it out of my mind, but and not to be put any slight on anybody who has come through this in contact with this illness. Because again, and I'll say this here, I said it here before. I mean, said it before, but anybody who is watching this or anybody who is going to listen to this me speaking, I sincerely hope that you or any of your loved ones are not affected by this illness in any way at all. So that's a sincere vibration put out there that I don't want anybody who is to hear this, listen to this, or any of them or their loved ones have any effect to get become in contact or become contaminated with this COVID-19. But and even in saying that, like, it's like I haven't, you see all these people, there's all these stories going down, but I actually, to myself, I haven't seen one kind of like a dead person, or I haven't seen the symptoms, like, or like people just on their deathbed, I guess. Maybe an interview with someone like that, or how does it happen? Does it take a week and they cough and then they just go to hospital, and where energy withers away for the next few days? Or is it, I mean, there's obviously been all sorts. There's been stories of children dying, elderly, I think maybe even middle-aged people. Maybe obviously they're dying, but there are people who are catching it. And if because there's a lot of like, what is it, the Boris, the Prime Minister of England, Boris, whatever his name uh, is it Johnson? I don't know. I should know, but anyway, um, good old Boris. He's supposedly caught the virus. Tom Hanks will be already caught the virus. Idris Elba, or many, like, this is one of many people. So I don't know about. I should look into this, and I should put a stream out the Australian politicians. Um, I should do some research, and because I mean, this is all people are talking about at the moment, right? And it would probably get more sort of pick up on the reception, like people would view it because people pick up on it because that's what they want to hear about. But it's like, yeah. So in then saying that, do these people who have got the virus, and can you be fully fit? You know, or not fully fit, but like just remain with it, and then when does it go away, or do you remain with it forever? Not forever, but you know, like you can you can like maybe like like Magic Johnson with HIV. I don't even know if he had to had to take medication or whatnot, but he remained, you know, physically fit. Although he had supposedly HIV, and then it didn't go to full blown AIDS, but some people would contract HIV and then within uh, a month or two, or you know, and then just deplete and get full blown AIDS and pass away. And then I mean, that just made me think of ECE, and that's even conspiracy like all this talk about. Because maybe whichever way it is, like because you've got there Magic Johnson having contracted HIV, which I know is two completely different things, but it's just the next stage, I guess. But he lived. Uh, I'm not sure. He's probably, you know, he hasn't passed away yet. He's decades, lived decades, and looking very physically fit. Whereas Eazy-E was physically fit for his, you know, for most of his life, and then supposedly contracted this HIV, or the AIDS, or was it HIV or AIDS, whatever, but well, maybe he contracted full blown AIDS straight away, but then it was a matter of months and he was gone. So it's quite, I don't know, that's off topic, but to me, that's a very, because I am very, what ECD as a child. Easy does it, um, you know, mad, like I used to love listening, and you know, he's a pioneer of the industry, most definitely, most out, and hip hop legend. So, you know, like, it's just, yeah, the thought of it, like, you know, I hope we're all right. Like, everything, I mean, I don't know, I've been coughing too. Like I've been coughing. So I've been coughing a little bit, but you know, maybe it's just been because of smoking too much, because I've been indoors so much. But you know, I don't want to even think of it. Like, I don't know, shit. I don't know whether you're supposed to go and test yourself, but yeah, you're supposed to stay in quarantine. I don't know, but I think, yeah, I don't even know what the symptoms are. It's really strange. You know, like I know it's like some sort of, you die from a pneumonia type thing. Your lungs fill with liquid, and you have, but it's supposedly a very dry cough. But maybe symptoms are different for everybody. Another smoke break. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I mean, got 25 minutes to go. Be chilling out of here. Get out of you guys' head. Wonder who else is going live at the moment. I guess it's probably still. I haven't got many UK subscriptions, so I do want to build more into that, so I can, you know, have we can have a larger um, community of people talking and just chatting or whatever, like at which have various times. Um, well, see, there's no notification now, so it's probably way too early. Everyone's sleeping and stuff, whatnot. But if you're talking up, yeah, that's pretty crazy. So you be on oh yeah, so it's good hoping people. I said it's different, and the numbers on the subscriptions seem different. I'm going up and down. Sometimes it says like, well, I'm not very many. I'm like 230, but as because I really want this to grow, so that's why I keep mentioning it. But like, it goes up, and then it's one day it'll say 232, then the next thing it's like 230 on the main page, and then and this is at the moment, not only today. So I've only gained a couple today, but yeah, goal would be I guess 5K within 6 months. Like that's pretty gonna be pretty hard, but um, also wanted to do could do a dedicated channel to music tutorials, and I did put up a video, or like if you check it, if you have time, it's a couple months, just probably a couple of uploads ago. Just one on how to get that pumping sound effect side chain, and then there was the continuation of it. But I could keep it on this channel, I guess, and try and organize it in certain ways, because I do want to definitely get this into a stream where it's viable. I mean, I'm not about nonsense. Like, not at all, man. Like, so it's like original, authentic, honest content, and yeah, like that'd be like anything. It's like music, man. As a job, to be able to have, I don't know, always be a sportsman as a job, to be able to go out there, have fun, and get paid for it is, like, you don't consider it a job. You know what I mean? It is your job, but just you got to put in work, you got to put in time, you got to put in hours, and that effort to edit things and to create things, but and train, practice. So, but and that's for creative. Luckily, music's something I love. So yeah, even in saying that, so I guess I better should flow out. I'll flow out on you know uh, a vibe way, and try and keep um, just this things like gotta keep in mind, right? It's gonna take me some time now. I'm going through these, so it's like I'm coming up with all the vibes. It's different. Whatever, yeah, be on here 3. No, all right. So yeah, that's how to get rid of that. So just everyone keep up good sense. Be on top of it. We're coming up to 2 hours. Much thanks again to all those people that listened and got this far. So I'm just gonna, as again, we're gonna like keep folding out here. Hope this audio is coming through live. This is Sunray, keeping that peaceful vibe. Some authentic, original new content I made. It's old actually. Much peace to all. Please hit the like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell a friend.
If I make bad, if I make bad, if I make bad, I'm just so cute. 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 I'm just. If I make bad, if I make bad, I'm just. If I make bad, I'm just so cute. 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 I'm just. If I make bad, if I make bad, if I make bad, I'm just. If I make bad, if I make bad, if I make bad, I'm just so cute. 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 I'm just. If I make bad, if I make bad, I'm just. If I make bad, I'm just.